Let's talk about the engineering skills of various centuries. The first is between 7th to 10th century. At this time, the buildings started having more rooms, doors and windows, which were supported by the horizontal beams and which were thereby across the two columns. This kind of architecture was called as corbelled architecture. Now, this corbelled architecture was later on also used in 8th to 13th centuries in the building of temples, mosques and stepwells, that is the baulis. In the 12th century, the most striking feature of the buildings used to be the use of arches and the limestone cement. Now, this was incomplete the architectural designs which were available in various centuries by the sultans. Now, let's talk about building temples, mosques and tanks. Why did the kings build temples and mosques? The reason was very simple. The kings wanted to show that they had power, wealth and also devotion towards some god. And the best example that we can give here is of the temple of Raja Rajeshwara, built by King Raja Raja Deva for his god Raja Rajeshwaram. Now, if you see in this temple and the Lord and the king, you will find that there is a lot of similarity between the names of all. This was purposely done to emphasize that the king Raja Raja Deva was in fact like the representative of God on earth, and whatever he did was absolutely right. So, to establish himself as living God on earth, they used to generally build the temples in their name and also keep their names according to the lords that they worship. Generally, the huge temples, the large temples were built by kings, and the small ones, that is the small deities which were there in the temple or the small temples, were built by the nobles. This again was a show of hierarchy. Whoever was big and powerful built huge structures, and who was small had to build small temples. Of course, the Muslim rulers did not show themselves as the representative of God on earth, but they also tried to show themselves as near to God in another way. They wanted to prove that they are the shadow of God, if not the living God themselves. The example is of Alauddin Khilji, who built Quatilul Islam Mosque, and after this he wanted to prove that he is the chosen one for building this mosque, because Allah believes that he was in fact the mixture of two great lawgivers, and Solomon and Moses. That is why he had the privilege of building this great mosque. So, whether this way or that way, the Hindu kings or the Muslim kings, all of them were trying to build temples and mosques to show that they were superior, wealthy, rich, powerful and also very near, close and dear to gods.